If you could nail down the 3 key skills of developing resilience in any situation from an NLP point of view, they would be outcome thinking, knowing what you want to have happen, awareness, noticing what's actually happening for you and for others, and flexibility, being able to keep changing what you're doing until you get what you want. On the face of it, they seem simple, but they aren't quite as easy as they look. If you want to get anything done in life, it's important to know what you want. If you don't know where you are going, it makes it really hard to get there, and you tend to end up going around in circles. So it's really important to develop the skill of outcome thinking. There is a trick to setting a useful outcome, however. The human brain is an amazing thing, but for all its wonderful complexity, the only way it has of gathering information about the world around it is through your senses. What you see, hear, touch, smell, and taste. And internally, it represents this information to you in the same way. Images, sounds, feelings, or what we call thinking. Language is something that human beings have developed themselves in order to give meaning to those thoughts and relate them to other people. One of the side effects of this is that the human brain doesn't really get what's called a negation. These are words like don't, stop, not, that turn a sentence into a negative or the opposite of something positive or real. Try this as a quick thought experiment. For the next 10 seconds, whatever you do not think of a kangaroo. Do not think of a kangaroo jumping gracefully up and down. That kangaroo is really annoying, isn't it? In order not to think about it, your brain has to think about it first. That's one of the things that makes giving up smoking so tough, for example. While you're thinking, I want to give up smoking, you're focusing your brain and your thinking on smoking, which makes you want to have a cigarette. The trick is to give your brain an outcome instead, which is a description of what you want to actually have happen that it can focus on. For example, I want to be healthier and to be able to get up in the morning and breathe. Outcome thinking is about making sure you give yourself a direction or outcome to aim towards. Rather than thinking, I'm really stressed, where you're getting your brain to focus on stress, ask yourself, what would I rather have? Or what would be better than this? Or how do I want to feel instead? Likewise, with other people, rather than simply telling them what you don't want them to do, give them a description of what you do want. It makes it easier for them to follow, and it's more likely to produce the result that you're after. Try it for yourself and see. Awareness is about your ability to notice what's actually happening both with yourself and other people. It's a skill for becoming more resilient in dealing with others and looking after your own well-being. The more you pay attention to other people, the easier it becomes to notice their patterns of thinking and communication and behaviour. Think about the people you know and care about best. You can probably tell when they are in good form without them ever having to say a word. You can probably also tell when they aren't. The more you pay attention to other people, the easier it is to begin to understand what might be happening for them and to build more effective relationships. It's also important to develop your own self-awareness. By developing your awareness of what's happening with you at any given time, both physically and mentally, you can give yourself the opportunity to choose your own responses and better look after yourself and your own well-being. If you're feeling stressed, for example, how do you know? What are the thoughts that go through your mind, your internal representations of the world? Images, sounds, feelings? Do you hold your breath when you're stressed? Or does your breathing change from its normal rate? Is it faster, slower, deeper, more shallow? Do you feel tension or a tightening in your chest or stomach or in particular muscles or certain places in your body? By contrast, how is any of this different to when you are feeling relaxed or calm or confident? When you know this, you can do something about it. The easiest ways to change your state or how you're feeling are by changing what you're doing physically with your body, for example, by standing up, going for a walk, taking some exercise, or by altering your breathing pattern. And we'll look further at how you can do this in the flexibility resource. The last key skill is flexibility. This is the ability to keep changing what you're doing until you get to where you want to go. It seems simple, but again, our understanding of how your brain works makes it a little more complicated. As the Nobel Prize-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman has pointed out, the human brain likes to make things into unconscious habits. Habits are a very efficient way to run a brain. To consciously think of things takes a lot of energy. For example, you have 3 seconds to answer the following question. What's the square root of 272? Who cares? If you did try to answer it, most of us would have experienced a massive ramp up of energy or stress as the brain geared itself up, often followed by a quick decision that it simply wasn't worth the effort. If the brain can make repeated behaviours into unconscious habits, however, these don't require the same amount of energy. When you learn through practice and repetition how to use door handles or tie your shoelaces or even drive a car, and it becomes habit, you can perform these tasks easily and effortlessly, often while thinking of other things. Most of the time, it's a great system, but it means that a lot of what we do is through unconscious habit. It also means that when we try to change our own habits or to develop new ones, it's harder than we think. NLP is about helping people to develop more choice in any given situation. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. The more choices you have of responding in any situation, the more your chance of success. We'll look at some simple ways of giving yourself more choice in how you can respond to problems and situations in the Journey of Resilience resource and the Flexibility resource.